Welcome back to Fasi Fas, where we're making way for women on the path to leadership.
And of course, we've been talking about domestic leadership. And if you have some thoughts, please feel free to get onto our social media platforms, share with the hashtag Fasi Fas.
So, really quickly into it, it's clear that leadership spans both at home and in the workplace. We've been having a discussion here how both could even be in the same place. But I want to talk about women now in particular. How hard or what happens to a woman who tries to have parts to play in both fields, at home and at the workplace?
Thank you. Of course, the leadership landscape does not favorably give a chance to a woman to actively participate in leadership roles. Uganda politics and the kind of leadership we have, by the time a woman finishes the domestic work, the other leadership roles would have been gone out of her control. Or let's take an example of the parliament, where women MPs and women parliamentarians find it very hard to juggle with domestic work and leadership roles at the parliament. By the time you have to meet a minister, by the time you have to meet someone very important in your field, there is a call at home, maybe the husband needs you somewhere. So it takes a lot to a woman to juggle with leadership and home work. What we can do is to train women, mentor them more on how it could be done. In that training, we need to look at the correlation between domestic work and leadership. The correlation brings in that interest for young girls. We inspire them. How do we deal with domestic chores? It needs a woman to have a lot of money, which is not there. You need to hide the domestic services, the maid services, to cater for home issues, and you run for work.
I mean, leadership. We talk a big game about how the world has changed and how us as men are trying to be a lot more supportive and involved. But in reality, is that the truth? Are we plugging in to what's happening at home? I mean, do you see this? Are we plugging into what's happening at home and giving the women in these homes a bit of more room to be able to explore and chase their dreams and fulfill their leadership potential?
The facts are that you cannot really effectively juggle working both at home and at office effectively. And that now brings into something I'm very passionate about, and that is the care economy, right? So yes, sometimes to take care of the loads of work at home, we need somebody else to come and play the role. So we hire the domestic care workers who come and do the job. I still think that they can play a significant role in trying to mellow these kind of negative consequences.
But even in the domestic worker system, I mean, there'll still be expectations on the woman, regardless of whether there's a domestic worker. The bulk of either managing that system, or you'll find people who say, you know what, me, I don't eat food that is cooked by the domestic, by the maid, And so does that actually provide any valid help in this instance? I'll just ask you, Isabella.
I'll extend from what Donna said. My mother had to leave work to take care of us. But my mother cannot entertain any of her daughters now saying that they are going to leave work to take care of the home. Like, it's a no-go area. And you can't even tell her, but you did it, you see. So whereas it's a sacrifice that she made, and my father raised us to sort of live in an environment where you could do both. And there are women who are doing it well, And I'll probably give an example. I know she won't mind. But Peria Ritua, she works for the Women in Democracy Network. She's the executive director. She'll tell you that one of the reasons that she has thrived is because she has the most amazingly supportive husband. She speaks of him to the mountains, because he is supportive. If she has a 7 a.m. breakfast meeting, which a woman in leadership will almost always have, he will drop the kids. If she has to do longer at work, he will pick the kids up. You see, so they've sort of worked out a system where both of them win. But you also have homes where the couples have sort of not yet worked out that system. But the fact that the conversation is happening is a good place. It's a good place to be right now.
Now, it's clear that running a home requires great mobilization skills. We have a woman who applies these skills to her business. Her name is Zilla Marie Arach. She's the founder of agritech company Acorion, and we put her in our hot seat.
I am Zilla Arach Mary, and I am a mobilizing leader. So I strongly believe as a leader, you need to love the people before you even go ahead to mobilize them, before you go ahead to influence them to do something. You need to love them. One is getting people to believe in you at first sight. So if sometimes as female, if you're trying to get into a field that is male dominated or get something, to do something new, first thing, if people have not heard about it, they're going to first have a biased mind. If an opportunity presents itself, don't say no. By the time someone points you out, that means there's something good that you can provide. Yeah, so like it's loosely translated, making way. So you can make way for yourself, but also you can make way for others. So as women, we need to find a way. Every time there's an opportunity that you think there's a friend of a friend who can benefit from it, you can let them know. That's another way of making way.
Let's make some noise for Zilla Marie Arach, everyone. I think she's doing some absolutely fantastic stuff. Can we get some quick reactions from the panel? I mean, what did you pick? Is there anything you'd like to add on to that she said? Is there anything that you'd like to emphasize?
One has to possess the ability to catalyze cooperation among the team. Before you mobilize them, you also have to show that ability, the courage. How do you socialize with the group? So that will attract them to you, and that influence will be done without any fear, because they would have grabbed whatever it takes for them
to happen. Yeah. Yeah, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So it is generally true that women are far much better resource mobilizers. I would actually like to bring to your attention, so in 2014, Gallup did a study of 800 different business units in the US. And they found out that the business units that included women in decision making and resource mobilization outperformed those that did not include women. So leaving women out of business, both in resource mobilization and other leadership attributes, is a big liability. It's a much more, becomes disappointment to the functionings of our institutions and organizations.
Well, thank you very much for coming on to Fasi Fas, and thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us on the show today.
That's all we had time for on Fasi Fas today. But before we go, a quick wrap-up. That's all we had time for today on our episode of Fasi Fas. Thank you so much to our guests for coming, and to you at home for watching. From David and I, it's goodbye and make way and
make some noise.